pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
All right. Call the meeting to order. Approval of minutes. Everybody have an opportunity to review those. Do you have an agenda?
I do.
Okay.
What about approval of the agenda? Item number 1.
Oh, yeah. Any changes to the agenda? Additions, deletions, corrections?
Okay.
Where is the, I just had the minutes. Oh, here they are. I'm looking right at them. Any changes or corrections, additions to the minutes? I have one question. And I don't, at the, we went into executive session. Did we take any action in there? Because I didn't, it doesn't indicate that we came out with any action, and I don't remember what we did. I remember that there was a discipline issue, and we concurred.
I don't think we took any action, because when I wrote down the minutes, usually what I do is if we take an action, I make a note. Becky, did I send you no action taken, or?
I believe you did. I can double check it.
Okay, because I think that might be an error, because we went into executive session for disciplinary action, and we concurred.
To discuss disciplinary action, but we didn't take any action. In other words, the action was taken.
No. We went into executive session because there was a disciplinary action. The chief made a recommendation for how to handle that, and I believe we concurred with his resolution to the problem. I believe that was my recollection of what happened. I don't.
Yeah, we agreed to the
because that's what we were supposed to do. So I think we.
Yes, there's no action.
Yeah, we concurred with the chief's recommendation with respect to disciplinary action. So that's the only correction that I have to the minutes. Does anybody else have anything? Okay. The chair will entertain a motion to accept the minutes as amended.
I make the motion.
Second.
How do you like when it's done to you?
All in favor?
Aye.
Minutes approved as amended. Public comment? No? Are you here for school?
Yeah.
Oh, lucky you. Okay.
Sergeant Paltz.
Did you have a?
It's my protection.
She's here for school, but that's.
My protection. Make sure you guys.
To make sure we're nice to you. Oh, okay. Oh, now we have to be awful. Sergeant Butler, welcome. The chief is on holiday, and Sergeant Butler is filling in his stead, and so you are next on the agenda with the chief's report.
Okay. What's the chief's report?
His monthly report.
Oh, the monthly report. I didn't know if we were talking about that or the report
No,
the chief
it's his
gives us
monthly
of what
report.
he does. Okay.
No. That way you can leave if you want. We're done.
He had went over the report with me. I can just go line by line with the monthly report, and as the report comes up, we can access it. If there's any questions, I can attempt to answer them, and if not, I'll make notes and get answers for you.
Okay, well, I can tell you what he generally does. He usually goes through any commendations so that it is, officers who've done exemplary work or have gotten compliments are publicly recognized here, and then he generally goes through the defensive action reports. So you're free to handle it any way you see fit, or
I'll just start at the top of his report. And complaints against personnel were none received for the month of January. Commendations, we did have one for Officer Brianne Quigley, and it was a call from a resident who was involved in an auto accident on January 18th of 2013, and she called and spoke with a dispatcher and said that she really was impressed with Officer Quigley's professionalism and helping her because she had 3 small children that were in the vehicle with her, and her handling of the way she had taken them out of the cold and provided for them while she was also investigating the accident. And it was just a compliment from a resident. She said she just wanted the chief to be aware of what a great job Brianne did with that accident.
Okay.
Defensive action reports, there were none completed for the month of January.
Quiet.
It's a good thing.
Yeah, that is a good thing.
You said none completed. Did that mean there wasn't any, or they haven't filed them yet?
There wasn't any.
Because
what I'm being told.
January is
There
New
was
Year's
none-
Eve. I was, it's just surprising you think about New Year's Eve. No, I know. Like I said, you said one completed. I just wanted-
None completed. From what I'm told, there won't be any complete, that nobody's filing any.
There is none, in other words.
There is none.
It's
Zero.
not that they're in process.
Nope.
It's that there aren't any.
Nothing pending. I have a K-9 report, and it has a building search for January 25th at the Ulster County Fairgrounds. The officers had found the building that was unlocked, and a K-9 search was completed of the building. There was nobody found inside the building. They were not able to secure something with the locking mechanism on the door, but the manager was contacted, and they're going to be taking care of it.
Sergeant, I know you probably don't know the answer to this, but if you could make a note, I'd like to get resolved billing them for this. This is not the first time it happens. It happens every month almost with them. They forget to lock a door, they can't lock a door, our people have to come out, we have to bring the dog out, and we do have the right to bill them, and I've mentioned it before to the chief, that we should be billing these people. I mean, once you start billing them, then they'll think twice about just walking out there and leaving the door open because they don't want to bother closing the door. So I know you can't answer, but I appreciate if you'd make a note to the chief. I'd like to go ahead and start, get authority to start billing these people. We don't want to bill for the door where we have reciprocity. We've already agreed to that. In other words, we go and help Gardner, or Gardner comes and helps us. If that's reciprocity, that's fine. But the Ulster County Fairgrounds, who just can't remember to close the door, they should be paying for the time of that officer.
I will make a note for that, Commissioner, but in this instant, it wasn't like an alarm that we responded to. The officers periodically will go check buildings
No,
on their own.
I understand, Sergeant. The thing is, if you look at the older reports, this is commonplace with
Okay.
them. This is not like they forget to set an alarm or an alarm goes off. If you look at the K-9 reports over the last 2 years or so, and you go to the number of open doors at Ulster County Fair, which is why I brought up billing situations like this. Anybody, forget to lock your door, you leave your door open once, that's one thing. But when you do it on a consistent basis, why should the town, New Falls residents have to pay for it?
So you'll check into that
Absolutely,
and have the chief get back to us
I will relay
on
those
that one.
sentiments to the chief, and he will get back.
Okay.
And also, I think it's a great thing, even though it was found open, that we know our officers are doing their job by, rattling doors, making sure things, they're not just, they're out there being active at night, not just sitting back in their cars, they're really doing good proactive police work, and I appreciate that.
Next category is injuries to department members, and we did have an injury where a member's going to be out 4 to 8 weeks, but it is sick leave, and it's not something that happened during the course of duty.
Yeah.
There's no pending personnel complaints that have come in the month of January, and there's also no civil suits that have been received by the department for the month of January. We do have changes in personnel. We've hired 2 full-time dispatchers, Colleen Mayer and full-time officer Robert Cisco. And as far as the hiring process, I'm told that the chief would like to hire 3 to 4 more part-time officers at some point in the beginning part of this year, as well as 2 more full-time officers when the new list from Ulster County Civil Service comes out. And both dispatcher, mayor, and Officer Cisco are doing really well with their training, and we hope to have both of them on their own performing normal duties in the month of March.
There were also, speaking of dispatchers, there were also a couple of part-timers that were hired as well. Is that
Yes.
I mean, you probably don't have that in here, but there were
Yes, we do have another part-time dispatcher that's actually working, and she's working tonight. But I'm not sure, since it wasn't in this report, if she was hired in December or another month. But there is another part-time officer right now that's in part-time dispatcher that's in training.
Okay, okay.
And next I have disciplinary action, and that was resolved between the officer and the chief, and I think that's what we're speaking of.
Yeah.
Equipment purchase, leased, lost, or damaged, I have none. As far as training matters, any officers that have tried to attend the trainings, I have a list of that. If you want, I can read that out, or if you just want to let me know if there's any questions.
Want agenda?
You can. I did get it in the email.
Hey, come sit with us.
Yeah.
Yeah. We're not like your board. We're nice around here. Besides, but you're on the agenda, so.
Did you,
I know.
do we usually, he just tells us what trainings they've gone to, or they're,
We don't, no, we don't
we
usually
don't
bother
usually do
with
it?
that,
Yeah,
no.
yeah, so you don't.
Because
you don't.
the training is just for us to
know where
it's-
there's-
it's-
yeah,
It's
okay.
nothing that,
I also have a list of all the meetings that the chief attended during the month of January, which I'm sure, once again, if there's any
if there are any questions,
Yeah.
we would ask you.
And then there are 2 reports that have not been completed that you will not find in your packets, and it's the license plate reader.
The license plate reader?
Because it's damaged and we're waiting for it to be repaired, and also the detective report because of the personnel that's out on sick.
Right.
I'm told when he comes back next month, you'll have 2 reports for both
Okay.
the following 2 months.
Okay.
And then I have a list of overtime, and if there's no questions.
No, that we.
Now, let me ask you this.
That we can't bring up.
This question. The detective sergeant is out.
Yes.
Who are you filling? Is it
Basic-
Sutton?
So, yes,
Doing
we
it
have a
by
detective
himself
in
now,
place.
or-
Yes, he's by himself, but luckily it's been fairly slow, but as the need arises, the detective sergeant has been involved with certain things and decisions, and has come in, to handle certain matters that have come up, and myself I have filled in also, as well as the chief. So pretty much it's a team effort, but, the detective sergeant is still involved.
How's Sutton doing?
He's doing very well.
Is he? Good. Do you have more?
I was just gonna go through the pile here, but if there's not any questions as to anything, maybe I don't need to.
Nope. We make it as effortless as possible.
Oh, I have some questions.
Do you have questions?
Yes.
Go.
When you're talking about missing reports, we don't have the new, unless this is it. Yeah, I'm sorry, this is it, the form change, the gas report, the new one.
Yes, I was told that we're gonna supply you with both our form and
Right.
Sunoco from now on.
Right. Also, in regards to the monthly report, I'd like to make a comment. The end of the year budget report shows that the chief, in his controllable budget, that which he actually controls, saved the taxpayers a little over $21,000. Also, that does not include the $1,000 he saved in the secondary line item budget, which is for printers and body armor, et cetera, et cetera. So it came out that he managed for the year 2012 to save the taxpayers $22,000, almost $23,000,
21,33893.
plus
Is that the one?
$1,043.
Yeah.
And that includes, by the way, when you look at the budget, you'll see they have changed as per the commission's request, that when they go over budget, they no longer put it in as zero, they now put it in as a minus, so that we know for the future that we went over budget on this item for doing it next time. So that includes a reduction by items that they did go over budget on. So the net effect was that $22,000 to $23,000 that he managed to save the taxpayers.
Yes, he had asked me to release if you had asked. that there was $21,000 approximately that was not spent from last year.
And we don't
He
get,
was getting ready for me.
I had it right at the top there.
and we don't get that, right?
No,
Those savings.
it rolls up, what happens is it rolls over theoretically, but we don't, we get the savings, Randall, in the fact that he now changed the way he does it. By having the negative where he goes over, we're not getting, well, you went over budget, blah, 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 from those people in the town board who like to scream about going over budget on a specific item.
Yeah.
By doing it this way, we get the benefit of the 20, let's call it 30, 35,000 that he actually saved, reduced by that which he went over budget on. So
Got
he
it.
managed to keep, despite going over budget, he managed to keep it within his controllable budget. I gotta be very clear about that, because that's his controllable budget.
Sergeant, anything else?
No, I just have what's in your packets, and then, I do have, brief explanations should you have any questions that arise, but
I just have, and it's not relevant to this report, but it is a function of just everyday policing. Is there a regulation within the town, or I'll ask this question. Do officers ticket cars with snow
okay.
when driving? And let me tell you, because it's a little pet peeve of mine, because it's actually quite dangerous. It snows. People, and usually it's people with huge cars and they don't clean them off. It thaws, freezes, and theoretically drive around, it comes off, and I've seen a number of reports where it's come slamming through people's windshields.
Extremely dangerous. Yeah.
It's extremely dangerous, and I would hope that our officers are vigilant in pulling over people who have mounds of snow on the roofs of their cars, because it is dangerous. It is extremely dangerous, and it is a major pet peeve of mine. So my question is, do we do that, and how frequently do we do it? And a reminder to the public to clean the roof of your car.
The answer is there is two different infractions that you can write for, and one would be obstructed view if they just clear like a patch and they don't clear the entire windshield or the back window. And the other issue so they could be for obstructing view, they could be issued a uniform traffic ticket for that. The other issue would be dumping debris onto the roadway if it's more than just a small amount, and if it certainly affects traffic, they could be issued for that as well. As far as how frequently the officers do that, I know that it's done on a normal basis, because just yesterday I heard officers talking about stopping a car, and I know it's something that they take action on. But as far as the frequency or the amount of tickets that were issued, I'm not prepared to.
Okay,
give
I just wanted to make sure that we were. It's extremely
I agree.
dangerous. I mean, and you know, people pull off, and I mean, if it's a solid block of ice, it can come through somebody's windshield. You know, it startles people. You know, I mean, it's as if a deer runs out and jumps in front of your car when you're riding in darkness. So. I would hope we do that so that people get the message that you need to clean your
I
car.
will add that with the Commissioner Margolis's comment about the billing, and I'll review that with the chief, and we can send that out as a reminder to officers to possibly do some selective traffic enforcement details looking for such violations.
Great, thank you. Thank you.
Yeah. Not to mention, it's just dumb because it uses up more gas to truck all that snow around.
Yeah.
Well, you know, when the guy's got 4 foot of snow from the snowstorm sitting on top of his roof and you're driving, I don't care how far back you are, that thing dumps in the middle of the road.
Yeah.
Even if you're
Yeah.
far enough behind, you don't get hit. The next thing you know, you got 3 feet of snow in front of you.
Yeah. Anything else? Any other questions for the sergeant? No? You are free to leave if you'd like, or you can stay and enjoy the misery with the rest of us. It's up to you.
I don't like meetings.
Okay. Town and village reports.
Well, one of the things I would have brought up is Park Point, but I see it's on here, so I'll just go with, today we had the 1 Billion Rising event, and there was this isn't even something I was actually going to talk about, but there was a miscommunication between I guess the village and both the DPW employees as well as the police, because they had, the original application was for an hour long in the on the sidewalks and then 15 minutes in the street if we were going to shut down Main Street. Obviously, there's reasons why we don't close off Main Street, and it ended up being, and we reapproved it and changed the approval to be an hour, or I guess it was 45 minutes on Plattekill Avenue, off of Main Street. But there was miscommunication where that message never got through. So I just, kind of wanted to put it out there and maybe see if there's ways that we could improve this. One of our issues I know has been minutes being produced in a timely manner on the village's end, which is an issue we've addressed many times, but has continued to be an issue. So I think that might have been part of it, but just, for everyone to be aware of, looking for where this communication breakdown might have occurred, because for the DPW in particular, it meant that they were there for overtime, but the officers weren't planning on spending that much time there anyway, and everybody was nice enough and operated smoothly enough that it worked out very well,
right.
And we were very appreciative, and luckily Sally and myself were both there, so we were able to say, well, we definitely approved this, and we know we did, but so.
And when I was briefed by the chief, I was told that it would be 10 minutes that it would be
Right.
closed. When I had the officer assigned down there, and I did have him specifically on overtime because we were short on the C-line shift today.
Oh, okay.
And when he had called me and said, how long do you want him to go past the 10 minutes? I replied back to him, I don't want him to go, if it's 10 minutes, I'd like to open the road back up. And then when he let me know that there was a discrepancy, that the permit was for 45 minutes, I then asked him to confer with you and Ms. Rhodes, and if that was in fact the case, then, I kept him down there longer, but it was a miscommunication.
I appreciate that, of course.
It was a miscommunication, but
Yeah.
it's easily fixed, but hopefully next time.
Well, we're
we'll
assuming
just
it's on
know.
our end, but we just, I wanted to make sure that everybody was aware of this. So
We'll
that,
let you take the blame.
Yeah, that's,
It's your fault. Okay.
I'm assuming it was on our end because we're the ones who are supposed to communicate to you what we've approved. So, but that's just something I wanted to put out there. So if there's any ways that maybe, ideas, not necessarily right now, of how to make sure that doesn't happen, that, I really think it's just about us communicating the proper thing and having the minutes done in a more timely manner. But, any ideas, send our way.
Do you have anything else?
Well, I wanted to talk about Park Point because there were some things that came up, but I'll wait till new
Okay.
business to discuss it. Yeah.
Okay.
Just into it.
Town gown, you
I have nothing
didn't
to
attend,
report.
so nothing to report on town gown. So we can breeze
Yeah,
right
I'm
through
sorry,
this.
but I wasn't there either. I believe the mayor attended this month.
Did
so.
he really? Because,
Well, hopefully I made sure that he was. Otherwise,
no,
I would have
because,
gone.
like I said, one of the reasons I figured it was going to be with everybody not being there who usually goes there, getting up at 8 o'clock in the morning to go to a meeting that nobody's at.
Right. Well, I'm planning on going next month. So.
Oh, okay, well, I'll be there next month.
Cool. I'll see you then.
Okay, under old business, lieutenant contract, just to update folks, there has been no movement there, as well as the police officer dispatch contract. The information that I have received with respect to the lieutenant, who, by the way, has that position has been vacant for 7 months now. The town board is working with the labor attorney, and things have been going back and forth there, but nothing has been set either way. And then there were plans to have contract meetings for the police and dispatchers, but that was canceled because the union representative was sick, and then I think Mr. Wallens has been sick, so everything keeps being shifted around. So ultimately, there's no action there. The sergeant indicated that the disciplinary matter was resolved, so what was recommended was accepted, so that was taken care of. The Audi still sits on our lot, and the chief indicated he was going to see if we perhaps
I was gonna ask the
could trade it
sergeant.
in, or
If the chief had told him whether or not he went down to the car dealer to see how much we would get in a trade-in for a hybrid.
I don't have a value for you on the trade-in, but what I was told was that was something he was working on.
Right. Yeah.
Because as you know, we received no bids. He was looking into the trade with TCD, and then he also said that in the meantime, if the commission wanted to have the car rebid out, he was okay with that. But until he hears different, he is trying to pursue that trade with TCD.
No, because like I said, the fact that we didn't get a single bid.
It's a big car.
Well, also, like I said, since we didn't get the value of the car in the bid, which is what we set the minimum value based upon the Blue Book, that's what you would get it at a wholesale price. We might as well try to trade it in, because at least trade in, you'll get a little bit over the wholesale price, which is better than, than nothing. And it gives us a great opportunity, like I said before, which is why I was all for this. It gives us a good opportunity to get one of these environmental friendly cars. Well, because it's not going to be used for patrol. It's going to be used for administration. Huh?
I'm sorry.
I think what he was, I think what he was going to do, it was going to be an administrative car, so it would be an auto for the lieutenant.
Right.
When we get one. And I think they're looking, he wanted to, I think it was a hybrid. He was looking to see for...
whatever was cheaper, hybrid, or however it worked out cheaper. Also, in addition to the lieutenant, since it was going to be an administrative car, it would be used for any other administrative purposes, like bringing a prisoner down. Well, you couldn't because you need the gates and stuff, right? But, anything else where...
On the training.
Yeah, but it wouldn't be patrol. It wouldn't...
It wasn't going to be on patrol, which is why we could use that kind of a car. As opposed to what we need for patrol.
Well, I think, one of the questions he asked to me was whether or not we wanted to put it back out for bid. Do you think we should just nix the bid and have him trade it in? And do we need to talk to the town board about that?
We have to talk to the town board again, because they're the ones who put it out for bid.
All right, so I'll talk to the town board, and then, but he can still investigate what the trade-in is, and what I would like to do is I'll talk to the town board, get the information, and sit down with him about that, and go over the pros and cons. It's probably easier to just trade it in and handle it that way. All right? New business. The departmental audits, which is, we usually show up and we go through the detective evidence files and then firearms and things, but since we don't have a full complement here, I want to hold off on that because I'd like to get everybody involved and participating in that process. It's also the personnel records and blah, 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 blah. So my goal is to try and accomplish those things by April, because we can do assignments at next month's meetings when everybody is here and people can volunteer for that kind of stuff.
He wanted to wait at least until he got back.
Yeah.
But said that if you were pressed with doing the things with me, you could do that.
We'll wait till he gets back and do it that way. By law, the commission has technically 3 vacancies, and they have to announce that there are openings on the commission. We have had 2 applicants. There have been no interviews done or anything scheduled, but we do have 2 applicants for the vacancies. Park Point. Park Point. I attended the meeting that they had here with the developer and the school, and I think you were here for that.
Yeah, I've been at most of them.
And one of the things that was interesting to me is that they indicated that they were going to, give the school district a bunch of money, and that SUNY police were going to respond to any issues that were on.
That's exactly the point I wanted to talk about.
And so we can discuss it, but I also want the chief to participate, and you can shed some light on it from patrol and a sergeant. But I would like for us as a commission to formulate our position with input from the chief and patrol about our view as to what we think or how we know it's going to work based on past experience. I find it kind of offensive that a for-profit agency is going to come into our community and tell us who is going to be responding to a privately owned campus, because that's what it is, and then decide that, oh, the SUNY police is going to handle all the calls, and we know for a fact that that is not true.
Right.
Well, when they pick up the phone, it's going to be 911.
Thank you.
And 911 doesn't go to SUNY police, it goes to the New Paltz police.
Right.
So the issue that I have is that if that is in fact going to come to pass, I would like the commission to take an official position and make recommendations to the town board, the planning board, the village, whoever is involved with approving this, saying that our department is going to need additional resources in order to handle whatever goes on up at Park Point, and it's not going to, you know, be as easy as SUNY New Paltz police handling it. That's where I'm coming from, and I don't know how you all feel, but my recommendation to the commission is that we take an official position as the public face for and the policy panel for the police department, and come up with a set of our own recommendations for what we know to be the facts in how our department works and what they've had to deal with when they've been told before that you're not going to have to deal with it.
Yeah.
So if they can give, you know, in my view, if you can give money to the school district, I think you should be able to be giving some money to the fire department and the police department. And, you know, so.
The problem where it really becomes a problem is that the school, college, or whoever's in charge of Port Pine went to the IDA and said, nah, it's only going to cost about $5,000 a year more for the New Paltz Police Department. Where they got the figure, I have no idea. How they figured it out, I have no idea. But this is what the IDA, which is why your idea is good.
Yesterday?
Huh? No, this goes when it first started.
Well,
and I do know that they talked to the chief a little bit.
Were said yesterday at the IDA meeting.
Yes.
Yeah.
I know the chief spoke with me briefly about it. He's been in conversations with, I believe, numerous groups about it. And basically what he wanted me to relay to you tonight, pretty much in line with what you're speaking of, is that he believes it will impact our budget and it will require our services as a department, regardless of what any study or organization is saying to the contrary.
It's similar to the Woodland Pines pilot.
Exactly.
Woodland Pines still has not made any contribution to the police department. It's not due for another 2 years. So although we were told, well, it's not going to have any impact, it's like with the ambulance corps, it wasn't going to have any impact, excuse me, but the impact is tremendous. And the ambulance corps, I think, finally got some money. I'm not sure exactly how it worked or when they got it, how much, but ours isn't due for another 2 years. And then it's only, to me, it's a paltry sum on a $34 million assessed property. And we're going to have the same problem that the taxpayers of New Paltz, in this case the town, not the village, are going to have to compensate for it. I mean, the village is bearing the brunt from Woodland Pines. The town will bear the brunt from this Park Point. And that's why I think what Randall is saying is a very good idea. We should be sitting down. We should be doing our calculations. We should be sitting with the chief and say, Chief, how many more men do you think you're going to need? Because you're talking about a whole bunch of 8 teenagers sitting in a private building. Because as everybody knows, the UPD can go into any dorm. You know, they have carte blanche. Our guys can't do that. So there's going to be who knows what, you know, hey, we can't do it in the dorm. Let's go over to Park Point and do it. And that's just the way I feel about it.
And you'll also have you'll have, I guess, more older adults living there, the faculty or people. So they're going to be making more phone calls if they're trying to get to sleep 10
Noise
o'clock at night.
complaints?
They're going to be making complaints nonstop.
Yeah.
So, you know.
Can Sergeant, are you comfortable talking a little bit about experiences that you, I mean, because you probably, we've dealt with this before where, oh, you're not going to have to deal with it. Yeah, could you do that? Yeah.
I believe any type of residents where you're talking about a large number of people living in a small area, which apartment complexes fit that bill, you're going to have complaints where you are going to get noise complaints, which we then spoke about. You're going to get domestic disputes. You're going to get medicals. You know, you're going to pretty much run the gamut on most of the responses and calls that we would normally handle. I don't want to get into who's going to handle what. The chief's official response is he thinks we will be handling these things regardless.
Right.
So what I will say is, if we were to handle these things and this apartment complex was put in place, it would definitely be there would be calls of service that are generated for the services that I spoke of. And, there could be some other ones, but those are the main ones. You get noise complaints, domestics and medicals, and, of course, the fire calls, smoke detectors that go off, and we respond to those as well.
All right, now let me ask you, because I
would like to jump in here.
But I do want to ask you a question, because I'm not fully versed on all of it. I mean, I participated in the meeting. This complex, would it be similar to, say, the complex that's down off Du Bois, Colonial Arm, the Colonial Arm? I mean, it's private property, right? It would be private property right now,
The land
correct?
itself is owned by SUNY Foundation, which means that the land is tax exempt, but the buildings are by a private developer, so they are not SUNY, not campus. It is a private. They would be assessed as private property, and the buildings themselves would be owned by Wilmerite.
So is the foundation selling that land to Wilmerite?
No, they have a lease.
They have a lease.
Yeah, they're
Okay.
leasing the land to Wilmerite to develop this, and after 40 years, which is the number that has been quoted, 46 years, it will revert back to the SUNY Foundation.
Okay.
And
Okay.
possibly become part of campus, possibly not. There's a lot of questions with that. But
Which also means that if it reverts back to the campus, because they're also asking for a pilot, which of course is not in our
then it'll
purview,
be a
then
tax
it'll totally
abatement
be
for the
totally
first
tax-free
20, 25
forever.
years, and then it'll
Totally
be tax
free.
exempt completely. Yes.
Right.
I mean, and the what?
Is the pilot definitely going through?
No.
They're asking for it, right?
They had the first presentation and have officially applied with the IDA yesterday. And at that meeting, this very issue came up because there are statewide contracts for SUNY police that they are not allowed. Their jurisdiction is not off of campus. This is 100% off of campus. Now, is that in line with the fact that I see them stopping people on Plattekill Avenue on a regular basis? I've got photos of it.
Yeah. Convenient deli.
Yeah, so
32 in Maine.
that used to be part of the campus jurisdiction when they were allowed to do stops along the way. But then my question becomes, well, can they protect the students walking home at night on Plattekill Avenue, and can they prevent some of these quality of life issues from going on Plattekill Avenue if they are generating revenue from giving tickets to speeders? But also, maybe they saw the person run a stop sign or do something on campus, and then by the time they pulled them over, they're on Plattekill Avenue. I mean, I don't know what the caveats are to that kind of thing.
If I may, the state has given them authority to go off the campus within a certain radius for B&T. So whether they ran a stop sign...
Is that the most recent thing?
No, that's always been...
No, because within the last 6 months,
Yeah.
new contracts have come out that say that they are not allowed off of campus.
No, they're not allowed to contract. As I understand it, please correct me if I'm wrong.
I mean, I could be
Sergeant.
wrong. I haven't read it,
As I understood the contract, it was they were not allowed to come off campus to assist NPPD.
That was...
Not that they can't come off
something-
campus or they can do this, that they couldn't come off campus to assist. But within their state purview of what the state said, because remember, we're talking about raising revenue here, and the state wants revenue. Within the state allowance and how it worked, they can come within a certain radius of the campus for B&T.
Okay. Well,
That's
then that would negate what I have said.
That's why, I won't swear to it. That's why I was asking the sergeant.
In terms of what they're applying with the IDA for, they said that it would not be SUNY Police, that it would be New Paltz Police Department. And this was confirmed by Chief Dugatkin at a student senate meeting last night, saying that the SUNY New Paltz Police will not be the ones doing it. It will be the New Paltz Police
So that was
Department.
not the original.
And that was not at
the original,
all
right. That's not what
was
we've
in the
been told.
DEIS.
Right.
Yeah,
That's
absolutely.
That's not what we've been told.
But now they're whistling a different tune since they're applying with the IDA, and the IDA had a lot of really good questions. And that's one of the big things, and I think that. It'd be great if you formulate a statement, especially because I think it could help contribute towards the IDA's decision to possibly not give them a pilot. Because I think that is, my two things are build it green and pay your fair share of taxes.
Exactly.
I think if those two things happen, I will consider it a victory.
Yeah.
So.
Well, I think we should come up with we should weigh in on
Absolutely.
this because it impacts our department.
And
it
100%.
costs the taxpayers money, and when we have to ramp up for additional police officers, we have to go through, why can't you do it with what you got, So, I mean, we really need to be vigilant about what our stand on this is and make sure that what is best for the police department is included in whatever gets done in this. So if they get whatever they get, then somebody's coming up with money from somewhere so that we can do what we need to do, so that we're not trying to pinch pennies and fighting with people to get what we need. But they need to at least incur some of the burden for the safety of the community and the expanded community that they're creating.
Yeah.
That's.
I mean, I'd like to suggest, just as a suggestion to you, that we hold a special meeting on this as opposed to one of our regular meetings, so that we have nothing to do but discuss this.
Yeah.
And if time allows, my just personal opinion, because I'd like the board to fill in our complement so that we're sitting here with a full complement, that we're sitting here with the liaisons, and that we have a discussion, because, the liaison, knows a heck of a lot more about the more current stuff. I only know about the older stuff, because our meetings and stuff have kept me from coming to the Park Point open hearings.
Right. Maybe you can even invite a planning board member to help shed some light on it, and maybe we can also look up some of the more
Yeah, it's just a
specifics
thought. Yeah.
regarding, what the jurisdiction is, because I haven't read the latest
Yeah,
union
neither have
contract
I.
to know.
I'm going by what it was when they came
A
up.
recent change that happened was we weren't allowed to use them for organized details anymore.
Right.
Parade details and such.
Right.
But what I can tell you is when we do need help for something, they have continued to respond
Right.
and assist us. But as far
How
as
frequently is that?
I don't have any numbers to support it, but what I will
Right.
say is, basically speaking, if we have, say, a burglary alarm in progress and I have an officer tied up in an accident, we would call them and say, can you send an officer to,
Right.
back up our officer? And I just had a case last week where I was tied up and an officer wanted to search a vehicle in the village area, and I had asked her to hold on, and I had called SUNY, and they sent an officer to respond to our location to assist her in doing that.
Yeah.
But as far as exactly what they do, why they do, I'm not prepared to speak.
Right.
that tonight.
As I
Well, I think
understand the
they
MOU
want to
is still in
help
effect.
us.
Yes.
It's not about. I mean, this is
Yes.
from other communities
Yeah.
where
it's not
these
the
contract
individual
things
members
came
by
from.
any stretch.
Yeah, no, I think we have a much more community a better community relations with them, than other communities might have with other campus officers.
So basically, we have two things on the table now. The first is that the commission prepare a formal position on the impacts of Park Point on its police department.
Yeah.
Okay. Somebody want to make that motion, or can I get a second to that?
I'll make that motion.
Okay. So the motion is the commission prepare a formal position on Park Point.
Take a formal position.
Take a formal
And-
position.
and,
Take a formal position on Park Point and its impact on the police department.
Mm-hmm.
Any discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
Unanimous. And then the second item we have on the table is the commission hold a special meeting to deal with Park Point and
To
invite,
come up with that,
to come up with
with the paper.
input for
the
the
position.
position. Is, okay,
I'll make that motion.
okay. Any discussion on that? All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. That's unanimous. All right. That was easy.
Ooh.
Done. Any announcements? Other matters? We have this is, we still have this, but
Yeah,
it's,
that's
but I mean,
executive session.
yeah, but I don't want to do it with just the three of us here, and then
Well, it's
two
just the
don't
three
have
of us,
it.
and we're still missing two.
Right, so
I'd rather not do it.
I don't want to
Yeah, no,
do
that
those
should be for
evaluations.
executive
We
session.
should all be at the table to do that. Are there any announcements or any other comments from anyone? Seeing none, the chair will entertain a motion to adjourn.
Thank you.
All in favor? Aye. All
I
opposed?
second that motion, by the way, Becky.
Meeting is concluded. Thank you.
Sure.